Hello， 大家好，又回来了。那现在来玩的是关于吸血鬼的故事啦。然后呢，今天玩起来应该会蛮沉闷的。怎么说呢？因为待会我会比较偏向剧情向。来，那就准备要开始玩咯。然后不知道大家还有没有印象，我上一次在玩的是什么？应该没有了吧？没关系，我们现在玩的是，我们现在来玩的是白教堂之遗。来，那废话不多说，来开始玩吧。我好像按错了，好啦，各位稍等一下，从头开始玩吧。好了，我们要开始了。开始进入游戏前，先进行读取。稳定。然后先来练习一下战斗。这样等一下又会因为战斗的远远很久不近，然后死翘翘。这里是战斗。
How long must I wait, damn it? Blaming me will not further your agenda, sir. How long is it going to take to fix me properly? A month? A year? You have the right to disapprove of our methods, and you will kindly apologize when you're feeling better.
你们在讲什么呢？有黑画面。
My sweet girl reads me like a book. I never could keep anything from her.
Good evening, Dr. Strickland. And good evening to you, Do you need my medical attention, dear colleague? You don't have to worry about me, Dr. Reed. I am here to assist you, not to be a burden. Goodbye, Dr.
As for me,
在之中有空头上，我们去把这个有空头上的家伙在哪里呢？在此之前先搜刮一下。
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
那就不聊你啦。 只是想讲说有没有知道。好，我们来看一下，这是我要去的地方。好，好，来到。这个地方。
If only I were young again, just a dozen years or so.
这个吗？
Hey, Doc.
是他。
I'll leave you for now, Mr. Cox.
I've never seen so many people die at the same time.
哎。
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed of the Pembroke Hospital. May I be of assistance?
Dr. Reed. So it's you who saved my friend Oswald. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
And you are?
Newton Blight. Oswald and I recently returned from the war.
Why do you stay here now that Mr. Thatcher's back?
It's complicated. Since the war, Oswald's been really nervous with the idea of entering any hospital. And me, I've got my own issues.
Can you speak about them?
Rats, sir. Even seeing one, they turn me. Just want to run. It's that fear that stopped me from going after Oswald when he left.
You are always welcome at the Pembroke Hospital. As a former officer, I'll be honored to welcome a fellow veteran.
I'm not giving up on bringing Oswald back to the hospital. I just need to convince him that he needs some help.
Perhaps he needs to reach that decision by himself.
Could you speak to him? He doesn't usually listen to doctors, but perhaps because you've been through it, you can talk him round.
What can you tell me about the war, Mr. Blight? If you want to speak about it, of course.
War was... well, you know, sir. The stench of death everywhere. Your mates lying bleeding in the mud. Just praying to make it through and get home. Bloody nightmare.
我也在法国打过仗。
Did you know Oswald Thatcher before the war?
No. We met in the battlefield. I think we're in the same boat to France.
如果真有人这么跟我
Stuck
讲，
together ever since.
我训了。
I fought in France too. I served as a field surgeon, but it was not uncommon to repel an assault, especially at night.
Yeah. The first time I was wounded, I had to protect the infirmary from hostiles. Twice.
What caused your phobia of rats, Newton?
It happened last year following an artillery attack. I was trapped for 2 days in a hole under 2 dead soldiers. And there were rats.
Go on.
They started eating me as soon as I dozed. Gnawing at my ears, my fingers, lips. Couldn't move. Couldn't call for help.
I see.
No, you don't. You have no idea what it is to wake up buried under bodies. Fucking vermin eating your flesh. Oswald. He found me and saved me.
Goodbye, Mr. Blight. Take care of yourself.
太快了，广告。哎呀，那假婚嘛。
Hello again, Mr. Thatcher. Do you feel any better now?
Yes, this neighborhood may stink of dog shit and reek of piss, but to me it smells like the purest mountain air.
Mr. Thatcher, do you have a job?
No. Since I came back from the war, I spent most of my time and energy just trying to forget.
I understand what you mean. I was a soldier too.
No. Nobody can truly understand what I've gone through.
Why were you locked in that sewer? What happened?
I went by the canal after an argument with a friend. Got chased by these fucking wankers and had to barricade myself in, despite my claustrophobia.
Tell me about your claustrophobia. Has anyone given you an official diagnosis?
That's That's what the bloody doctor said. But I don't want to go to a hospital to get checked again. I'll deal with it my own way.
Uh-oh.
Why did you run? What was the reason for your argument?
Newton wanted me to go to a hospital. I can't stand being closed in. Makes me feel like I'm suffocating.
Oswald, why did you not go to the Pembroke Hospital to seek medical help?
I don't trust doctors. All they care about is their careers and processes. I won't be locked in any room again by anyone.
Your fear of being trapped is not going to go away by itself. You need professional help.
I've seen enough butchers in white coats to last a lifetime. Hospitals reek of chemicals and death. What I need is fresh air.
Do you want to talk about why you have this fear of being enclosed, Mr. Thatcher?
No, I really don't.
An irrational fear like yours is usually rooted in a specific event. Perhaps it would help to talk about it.
Well, Doctor, take a guess then if you're so interested in my case.
Perhaps you were trapped or locked in somewhere as a child. The horror of war could have brought this memory back to the surface.
Are you joking? I grew up on a farm, had a bloody fantastic childhood.
Do you want to
know
an Iraq?
Well, Doctor, take a guess.
Perhaps you were trapped.
Are you joking?
Goodbye, Mr. Thatcher. Try to take care of yourself. Hello again, Mr. Blight.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. You doing your rounds as usual?
What cook?
No, you don't.
Goodbye, Mr. Blight. I cannot enter.
Are they back? It's elite! Kill it! Take a breath of it! He's mine! I'll take it! Die, vermin!
全程都是我的。
Get back in the grave!
哇，人家这么高这么有仇。找到路可以走。
Get
钱都是我的。这里然后要到达那边，然后中间有很多个路线。天体行走，血是立即回答。我还是用这个，我比较顺。
I can't believe I'm doing this.
对，要用鸦片。好痛药。
Ain't safe here for a gentleman. Go on, off you trot.
我有存档吗？好像还没吧。
This is no place for a gentleman. Step away, sir.
It's locked, all right.
Die, vermin!
敌人人太多了。敌人人太多，只能先逃了。
Look at it! Vicious bugger!
找到方法了吧？找到方法了。老木。不能从那一侧，然后从这里这样子走过去，这样挺远的呢。这里又不让人走，这一条桥。哦，要到这里。
Come on, petty mortals. Come and face your final fate.
这 步。太脏了吧！不然不能从那里出去开始。是赢了吧？
Whitechapel. This neighborhood is linked somehow to the kind Lady Ashbury's blackmail. First, let's find this Petrescu fellow.
认识什么东西？马上。这个当时，这个当然了。哦，然后出了什么意外之后。 未知。
Good evening, miss.
Good evening, sir. Are you interested in a miraculous cure for this unknown and deadly epidemic?
Actually,
我还蛮感兴趣的。
Then you have come to the right place. The famous Swanborough cordial is all you need to help keep you in perfect health.
oh, really? Why didn't I hear about it during my studies? I'm Jonathan Reed, by the way. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Ah, my brother has spoken of your research, sir. I'm Loretta Swanborough, and it's always a pleasure to meet a fellow healer.
就觉得他是不够，完成这句话。
Tell me, who intrigues you most in Whitechapel?
The region itself is something to see, but I would say Camellia the mute florist who gives away her flowers.
Is there anyone I should avoid?
Cadogan Bates, without a doubt. The bloody bastard remorselessly exploits poor migrants as soon as they get here.
What do you think of the locals?
Most of them are afraid or desperate. They all come to me eventually for my remedy.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like to talk about competition.
Competition, you say?
Never met her, but it seems she provides some sort of medical care to the poor. The whole thing has to be some sort of scam, if you ask me.
I'd like to see what kind of medicine you're selling.
目前其他的东西我都看了。到了。
What do you want? Leave me alone.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I'm looking for Nurse Dorothy Crane.
There is no Dorothy Crane here. Now goodbye.
I'm afraid this medical leaflet says the opposite, sir.
Really? Well, I'm afraid I'm going to close this door right now. Go bother someone else, Mr. Doctor.
Oh.
To enter that house, I must discover who this man really is. Maybe I could start by observing what he's up to.
Strange man was at the door with a pass for our medical facility. I refused him entry.
Darius, how could you know he didn't need our help?
His clothes were too finely tailored to be for Whitechapel.
Perhaps just a friend of that stray poet who is always about.
Richard Nethercott? No, not of the same cloth, this man. I suspect some machination from that journalist.
Clayton Darby. Is he still asking questions?
Yes. I saw him drifting around St. Mary's Church. I swear he is tracking me just downwind.
I must talk to that journalist or the poet. They must know about Darius. Nearby the church they just mentioned.
在特定区域。
Just look the other way this week, Joe. You paid one way or another. Please, Joe.
Excuse me, sir. I have a few questions for you.
Another journalist? I didn't answer the first one, so piss off.
I'm not a journalist, I'm a doctor.
A doctor, you say? It's quite a rare breed in this part of town.
Really? But still, here I am. Dr. Jonathan Reed, at your service.
I'm Joe Peterson's son, but Colossus Joe to most. And I don't remember asking for your service, sir.
According to you...
Not familiar with this neighborhood, are you?
This part of town does have quite a reputation.
Totally. Look at me, for instance.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
目前暂时不要。
Welcome, sir. Please, take a browse of my wares.
I am Dr. Reed.
Doctor?
Have you heard of
Nurse Crane? So the bitch really is a nurse, then? Always thought she was just some crafty foreigner, that one.
Yes, she's a nurse, and quite a good one. What did she do to gain such notoriety?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that. Came to England fleeing the war, I was told.
That doesn't explain why she irritates you so much.
Your precious Nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free. I offered to sell it for a fair cut, but no. Miss Crane wanted to play the quiet saint.
As a merchant, you see Whitechapel every day. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary recently?
Well, you mean besides the epidemic, the war, and all the usual crap? As long as I can remember, this part of town has been a bottomless pit, and no sign of the bottom yet.
Goodbye for now.
Goodbye.
Soon the time will come when you will all be judged for your sins. Even now, he judges your words and actions.
Don't be shy, handsome. What can Christina do for you?
I'm not looking for what you're selling. But I'd like to ask...
All right then, but be quick. Though I usually get paid when I open my mouth.
Christina, have you been examined? The epidemic is spreading fast in London.
I don't like doctors or hospitals, but I don't like you asking questions.
Considering your line of work, I assure you it is only...
If it is going to happen, it will happen.
You can put your own life in danger, that's...
And you think that would worry me? If you knew the men I deal with, their health would not be what you'd worry about.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy?
I don't know her, but I know her name is Dorothea Crashonescu.
You seem to respect...
Dorothea helps the sick people of what?
Goodbye.
Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town? Name's Clayton Darby, reporter.
Sorry, I'm new to Whitechapel. But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist.
Dr. Reed, the famous surgeon. I'll gladly help if I'm able, sir.
I heard you're investigating an underground medical dispensary in Whitechapel. What do you know about it?
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and I'm not really an acquaintance of theirs. Why do you care?
I'm afraid one of the nurses from the Pembroke Hospital may be involved with unsavory activities.
Ah, could it be Dorothy Crane?
Without a doubt, you are a damn fine journalist, Mr. Darby. What do you know of her accomplice, a man named Darius?
I don't know much about the man. He's very cautious. Never goes out. Doesn't seem to have any friends or family.
He never goes out?
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him, but it was just a ruse to keep me away from his house.
Really? How do you know?
He went to the nearest mailbox, but just before posting his letter, he ripped it up and threw it away.
He has no relatives at all?
No, except for that strange man, a poet named Richard Mithercott, who sometimes comes by. Darius would never let him in.
Where can I find this Mr. Mithercott?
He spends most of his time lurking around Whitechapel, talking to himself or declaring verses. These days, you can usually find him behind the church.
Okay.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
If no one stops it, this epidemic could turn into a scourge. It may kill more people than the war itself.
Yes, this is another kind of war, but just as deadly. History will judge us all for what we did and what we did not.
Have you any idea of the danger you face in these streets at night?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
That science is unable to explain the facts doesn't mean there is no rational explanation.
I confess, I share your point of view, Doctor.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell.
好的，看来找到了，然后来跟这个会讲。
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reed, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist? You are much more lost than I thought, my son.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences. And most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes listening to your so-called truth.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu is just the beginning of the end.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flesh and the heart of men. With my own eyes I have seen them, those minions from the abyss.
Really? And what would be your answer to this biblical threat?
We must fight the disease before this legion outnumbers us. But not with scalpels and microscopes. No.
What is left then?
Cleansing fire.
Tell me, Tobias, what exactly is your plan concerning the cleansing of this city?
God will recognize his own. More than once this city has risen from the ashes, hardened and purified by the flames.
Purification by fire has proved useful, but where do you stop? Burn the clothes? The buildings? The corpses? Worse?
Your lack of faith is predictable. But my task is to convince rational minds like yours to see the light. This is God's will.
You're mad and dangerous. You're nothing but a soulless butcher. A small-time Torquemada. The Savonarola of Whitechapel.
My son, if you think salvation is a free gift, go listen to the lies of that pompous fool, Joseph.
Joseph, a fool?
Vicar Larrabee of St. Mary's Church. While he continues preaching his fraudulent redemption, more and more people die in the streets.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses, but I especially abhor that Nurse Crane you mentioned.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane more than other nurses?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in her country. That's what happens when you let a woman get involved in politics.
I have heard enough for tonight. Goodbye.
The walls of your home will not protect you. There is no protection against
The content of Darius' letter to his children could give me more leverage to enter.
但是我接下来是要走那个西凉，对吧？
I cannot enter.
不能从这一侧南侧，但是可以当地通过。 其实我在想我之前那一个区域是不是很远望到的？如果是这样的话，可能就更糟糕。因为我先看看能不能找个安全路线。
Good evening, Doctor. Can I help you?
Goodbye, Mr.
Good evening, Doctor. Can I help you?
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell.
可以哦。 真的是很厉害，教育方面。这个我以为是可以过去，这才是我们的目标。
Some of us come to this.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions.
Please be my guest. Although I may not be the best informant regarding this part of town, my words speak about that which the eyes cannot see.
Really? Are you an artist of some kind?
I'm a poet, sir. Richard Nethercott, at your service.
May I ask you a few questions about the district?
Extraordinary part of town, is it not? I'll be glad to help you, if I can.
What can you tell me about an old man called Darius?
Darius Petrescu? Yes, I know him. At first, I thought he was only a small publisher. I invited him to publish my work, but his reaction was pretty clear.
Not interested in your talent?
Darius is an old political activist who takes delight in printing tracts and lampoons. Those communist activities only require mediocre writing skills.
What can you tell me?
Darius...
Not in...
Darius...
I'm looking for
Dorothy Crane. Oh, I love the name. The Crane of Whitechapel. Sounds very mysterious. But, sorry, no, never heard of her.
Are you aware that your life could be in danger in this part of town?
But this is where I must be to feel the real beat of the city. I had to come, see it for myself, alone.
If some misfortune came upon you, who would be here to help you?
Well, you, for a start, my dear doctor.
Wow.
I understand your need for solitude, but it's not safe around here.
I don't care. I don't have many friends, Doctor, and my family despises me.
May I ask what you're doing at this hour?
Not at all. I'm just enjoying the pleasure of...
If you say so. But as a physician in a time of epidemic...
Thank you, Doctor. But we both know the seeker of truth has to go boldly where...
But are you not afraid of the epidemic?
Oh, why should I? I see some equity in the Spanish flu. No flesh should be saved, say the scriptures. Good or evil, rich or poor, all are equal in the eye.
I'll leave you alone, sir. Darius is a bit less of a mystery now. It should not be that difficult to incite him to let me in.
Protect you, for there is no protection against sort it out, right?
It's not my call, Barrett. You pay one way or another.
Please, Joe. How long have we known each other?
Hey, 来吧，挑一门呢。
Mr. Petrescu, just 1 minute, please.
You again? Go away.
Goodbye, Mr.
要怎么样才会有那部噩梦？ 安全屋。哇！小瓶子。钱钱，小黄的，安全优与节水。看看有没有可以升级的。网络。毛，看来目前为止是40%，而突破到这个。有，这里的人都蛮不健康的呢，支气管炎、普通感冒、疲劳症、三流体质。在健康了。劳累，感冒，支气管。先把这过劳症。过劳症。然后支气管。 出去。终极现实。可以到这个地方。所以基本上我是这里走，看就从这里走，到这里。
It's locked.
那就往下走。这里我走过了，对，刚走过了。 又是不能走的，怎么这样？啊，既然那么多的道具，应该也可以弄枪械放掉。行尸界地上避难所，是的，泉水盆上蒸馏水都有哦，棒！
This is despicable.
算了，哎呀，哇，今天这个就玩这里，结果没有魅惑城啊，真是失手。今天就是没有魅惑城。210个字，啥都不能用。另外一个方面会遇到。好了，今天就先玩到这里了，各位再见啦，拜拜。好，那之后什么时候还会再直播呢？就看情况啦。可能是2年后，有可能真的是假日，随便啦，就有时间我就会来直播啦，拜拜。